Welcome to 2026. If your organization still relies on passwords and a traditional firewall to protect its data, you are operating on borrowed time. The idea that a network can have a safe, trusted interior is a dangerous illusion. This diagram illustrates the structural failure of the classic castle-and-moat model. For decades, remote work relied on the virtual private network, but a VPN uses an inbound gateway, a public-facing node that actively listens for connections. By sitting right on the network edge, it announces its presence to automated exploit kits that are constantly scanning for vulnerabilities. Once a user, or an attacker using stolen credentials, authenticates at that gateway, the system grants them implicit trust. The firewall steps aside, assuming the user is legitimate once they have crossed the threshold, and grants them broad entry into the internal environment. Because the network is open on the inside, the attacker can now move laterally. They can pivot from a low-level workstation to a database server, scanning and infecting different segments of your infrastructure without triggering another security check. This legacy architecture ensures that a single compromised account can escalate into a systemic, company-wide network collapse. This technical failure directly creates a boardroom-level financial and legal crisis. Cyber insurance carriers now frequently demand proof of continuous verification before renewing policies. If an organization cannot demonstrate that it restricts lateral movement, insurers may revoke coverage entirely, leaving the business to absorb the millions in recovery costs from a ransomware attack. Regulatory pressure is also mounting. Under 2026 standards like the European Union's DORA framework and new U.S. state privacy acts, failing to implement granular access controls is now tied to heavy financial penalties for data exposure. Operating on a wide-open VPN is no longer just a technical choice. In the eyes of regulators and insurers, it is increasingly viewed as actionable corporate negligence. The required pivot for modern security is Zero Trust Network Access, or ZTNA. This moves the focus from securing the network edge to managing identity-driven, application-level access. The difference is in the direction of the connection. As this diagram shows, traditional VPNs listen for inbound requests. ZTNA uses an outbound connector model, where the internal application initiates the connection strictly from the inside out to reach a secure broker. Because the application side never listens for a request, the firewall remains in a permanent deny-all state. This physically eliminates the open listening ports and exposed IP addresses that attackers rely on for reconnaissance. As the scan wave passes over the network, it fails to detect the resource. The entire internal infrastructure is effectively cloaked, making it invisible to the automated scanners used by ransomware groups.
ZTNA neutralizes the majority of external attacks by ensuring that hackers cannot target infrastructure they can't see. To maintain this total invisibility, we have to finally move past point-in-time passwords and step into continuous verification. In a ZTNA environment, a user never actually joins the network. Instead, the system builds an isolated, encrypted tunnel that connects the user strictly to one specific application for that session. All other resources on the network remain inaccessible and dark. The system monitors the session in real time using behavioral biometrics. It analyzes typing cadence, location, and device health, constantly verifying that the person using the application is the person who logged in. If a behavioral anomaly is detected, such as a sudden change in navigation speed or a login from an unexpected region, access is instantly terminated.
This isolates a hijacked session to a single point, preventing the lateral pivot that turns one compromise into a company-wide crisis. Beyond risk reduction, transitioning to ZTNA delivers measurable operational savings. Zero Trust deployments drastically reduce costs. Retiring physical VPN hardware eliminates maintenance, while passwordless authentication drops helpdesk tickets by 75%. Independent studies show a 210% return on investment over 3 years, often paying for itself in under 6 months. ZTNA isn't just a security expense, it's an efficiency upgrade that actively protects the organization's bottom line. Despite these gains, many organizations hesitate, fearing that new security requires a total disruption of their current operations. The solution is phased convergence. ZTNA runs in parallel with existing infrastructure, allowing gradual transitions without shutting down operations. Teams migrate high-risk areas first. As you prove them all, you narrow VPN usage until it's safely decommissioned without affecting productivity. This integrated access model provides the visibility and control required to withstand modern credential-based attacks, aligning operations with the realities of the 2026 threat landscape.